the feed where the reels unwind. Off the real podcast, digging deep in the grind. 80 flicks, low cash, big dreams in the frame. No blockbuster hype, just the realest in the game. Reviews so sharp, we cut through the noise.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Nerdly Presents Off the Reel. This is an Off the Reel review, Dead Reset, which is a horror FMV video game. If you don't remember them, it's kind of like filmed like it was an actual movie or a TV show, and then you would get to make some certain choices and it would sort of choose what the path was for the game. A couple of years ago, maybe even a year ago, I played Paul Raschild's The Gallery. The review should be down below in the feed and it should be there, and it kind of got me back into these games. It's from Dark Rift Horror. Stewart Sparke, the director of How to Kill Monsters, Book of Monsters. Big fan of what Stewart Sparke does, and obviously his Mrs. Lyndsey Craine, who stars in all his movies, and she also starred in Liam Regan's Eating Miss Campbell, another movie that I absolutely adored. Check out Liam Regan, check out Stewart Sparke, check out Dark Rift Horror. They kind of know where they are, they know the niche that they lie in, they know what they can do with what they have. Now, they've kind of just low-key got this gore-fest horror game that at Fright Fest they showed a trailer for the game and then they put out a demo. So I bought the game on the Xbox and I was going to have to play it. I did a full-on playthrough on the Twitch channel. I did a massive playthrough, played the whole game. It took about 2 hours 40 to get through it. I want to talk a little bit about the plot as best as I can because it's quite confusing. I'll talk a little bit about the cast, then I'll get into what I did and didn't like about this game, and then I'll get into my final Nerdly Presents Off the Reel rating. This is going to be kind of just flip-flopping around and it's going to be a general review of the game as it is. And again, Dark Rift Horror along with Wales Interactive, they're the guys behind this. So let's talk a little bit about what it's actually about. And IMDb does actually have a little bit of a synopsis here. So, trapped in a terrifying death loop, surgeon Cole Mason is kidnapped and brought to an underwater facility, forced to operate on a patient to extract an evolving parasitic horror. Dead Reset is a blood-soaked interactive horror where each death brings you closer to the truth. And that couldn't be any closer to what this is actually about. Yeah, so you are Cole Mason. You wake up as Cole Mason on this ship or this underwater submersible thing. And you're basically being told, look, we need you to cut this girl open because there's something in there that we need to sort out. He's a little bit worse for wear, doesn't really know what's going on. He's being forced to do this, or you are being forced to do this. Once you cut open the stomach of the woman, the alien, there's like this little alien with tendrils and stuff like that, you have to remove this thing. And this is where the fun comes in, because you have to make choices. So your first kind of choice is like, do you want to take the scalpel and do the surgery, or do you want to make a run for the door and hopefully escape? So me personally, I took the scalpel. I was like, let's do the surgery. So we cut the girl open, and then this thing wraps itself around your arm, and it's like you're being told by Lyndsey Craine, just relax, it'll let go of you. But then another guy's like, nah, hack it off. And all of your choices have consequences in this game. If you make the wrong choices, the alien pops out and starts eating everyone quite gorily and absolutely insanely brilliantly. Like, there are loads and loads of death. I actually really want to go back and replay this game just so I can kind of see what else we get. When you do die, because you will die, it is going to happen, it's kind of the point of the game in a way, you then reawake at the point of when you woke up on the floor and you're in a time loop. So you have to redo it, but obviously you remember everything that happened, but nobody else in the room does. Now, you could think this would get a little bit tedious, but one of the things I loved about what this game does, when you do get to a certain point, you almost have a save state, which I really like. And the way they do that is that there's this machine on the ship that has power surges, and whenever it has a power surge, it resets to that point of where you are. So if you die again, you go back to that point. You don't go back to the very start, you go back to that point. I love this idea. It was very well done. But that is kind of the premise of the game. You're trying to learn as much as you can each time that you go through the game. It always helps to sort of see these little hints and these little clues that you can use in the next part. And that's it. There's an alien on the ship. You need to survive. You're probably going to die a whole bunch of times. But I do actually think that's the best part of the game, is just death, 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 death. People getting killed all over the place, left, right, and centre, right the way through till the end of the game. Who will survive? You decide. Well, you don't really decide, but you do have choices to make that will help you get to the end. If you can get to the end, who will come with you? It doesn't really matter. That is what I loved about this game. It's just an absolute gore fest of a game. Lots of blood, lots of deaths, lots of screams, and I was there for the whole damn thing. So let's get into cast and crew. I want to start with Cole Mason, who's played by Daniel Thrace. Daniel Thrace is no stranger to the Dark Rift horror universe. He was definitely in How to Kill Monsters. We loved him in that bit, more of a comedic role, but here he is actually being quite serious and very, very sweaty and really kind of showing us who he is and a lot of his acting chops, actually, because he does have kind of the hardest part of it, because he's supposed to remember what's come before, and he's also supposed to be trying to get us through this, whereas a lot of the guys, when they do go back, they get to just reset their character. He doesn't. He has to carry everything with him, and again, he's talking to us, talking for us. He is our character throughout this game, so yeah, he's got a lot to do, and I loved what Daniel Thrace was doing with this. He also showed that he can actually be a leading man. He can carry this game right through. Lyndsey Craine, we know Lyndsey Craine. We love Lyndsey Craine around here, and she is fantastic as Fern. She's kind of almost the love interest. When I played it, I didn't really want to go down that road. It does try and take you down that road a little bit, but I found myself really going towards a different character, not in a love way, like he was just my bro, he was my guy, I wanted to like survive this whole thing with him and with him specifically. So when I had those options of trust her or trust him, or there is a moment where you maybe get to lean in and do the old smoochy smooch, I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. That is the character of Fern. That's Lyndsey Craine. She is excellent in this. Like, within about 5 minutes of being on screen, she's getting to do her screamy scream thing, and she is pretty much the scream queen of independent cinema right now. She's a great actress. She's a fantastic actress, and here we have another really cool performance from her. Adrena Carroll as Maxon, who's kind of like this scientist lady, overbearer, overseer of everything. Really, really love this character. She is sort of the demon head master. Oh my god, that's a callback. That is a callback, by the way. She is kind of that role on this ship. She's making sure everybody's doing what she wants them to do. She has theories, she has plans, and she needs to make sure that she knows if they are actually going to work. Andrew Dunn plays Professor Weir, or Dr. Weir. I would love to think that's an Event Horizon nod, but Andrew Dunn is excellent. He's very good at what he's doing. You will recognize him from many other things. He's a cool actor, and it's always good to see him on screen. Michaela Longden as Cooper is an MVP of this game. Towards the start, she is so good, and she's just doing what we love to see Michaela Longden do. Again, she's been in all these movies with the Dark Rift Horror Gang. I've seen her in loads of other movies and everything like that. She was in The Baby in the Basket. I love seeing a bit of Michaela Longden. She's just a really cool actress, and she always seems to like put her all into what she's doing, and here was no exception. This is one of the things, like, I do know most of these people, as in I've seen them in quite a few different things, and I've spoken to a good bunch of them in different interviews that I've done for Romford or whatnot, and that's kind of what made this game quite hard for me to play in a way, was because I do kind of know some of these people. So when it came to like trying to save their lives, I was somewhat invested. I was like, I need to get these people out of this situation because I don't want to see them die. That's not something that I want in my life. I don't want to be the guy that caused the death of this character. And then there's my guy, Dennis, and I'm going to ruin this name, it's Dennis Rasaq. He has a Q at the end of his name. Oh man, I've butchered that and I am sorry, but dude, Dennis, you play Slade in this game, and Slade is my MVP of this game. Everybody that I see in this game, I really like what everybody's doing. It's a really fun time, what's going on, and I love the different characters and the different dynamics between them all. But Slade is my guy. Gets the memo, gets the message, knows the mission, wants to complete it, and he ain't taking no shit throughout this game. does what needs to be done. I loved Slade. I feel like as my character, Cole Mason, I was able to kind of talk him round and stop him from doing silly things or getting him onto my team. But by the end of it, I was like, I want a sequel. I want a Dead Reset 2. We are the Riggs and Murtaugh of this universe. I was Cole Mason and Slade was my Murtaugh. Like, I just thought that character was so cool, so well written, and unbelievably well acted. It's kind of hard to talk about things I did and didn't like. I guess if I had to pick something that I didn't like is I feel like there could have been a few more options. There are quite a few options that do shape the game, but I could have done with a couple more. There were certain little bits where the character of Cole Mason was making decisions on the screen when I kind of thought, I would like to have made that decision. Again, that means you've got to film more stuff. It means you've got to have more branches to the story. But it was a couple of things that I was like, I would like to have made that decision. I maybe wouldn't have went down that road. I maybe wouldn't have done that. I understand that you do have certain parameters, and I understand that you kind of have to keep things on track, and we have to follow a certain narrative to get us to that closure point. But yeah, that was one of the things. I loved the deaths. I loved all of the gore. All of the gore was absolutely brilliant. Just some of the deaths were immense. There's a death at the end. There's a death at the end. I'm not going to say who the character is, but I will say it's a female. There are many females in this movie, but it is a female, and her death is absolutely outstanding. We do have a little cameo from Johnny Vivash. I've not mentioned that. That scene is so bloody cool. Nice little cameo from him, and what we do to that man, well, you have to see it to believe it. There's not a lot I didn't like, and there's so much to talk about that I loved. The score in this, the music in this is just incredible. It really does. When things slow down, it really does raise your heartbeat and raise your tension, because the music is doing all of the heavy lifting. And that's a good thing, because when you're just looking down a corridor and there's sort of just like a light glistening at the end, but you know there's something down there, then yeah, it just sets the tone big time. But again, like as I've said at the start of this review, I was a big fan of How to Kill Monsters. I was a big fan of the Book of Monsters. I'm a big fan of what these guys all do and what they can all do together. And that's why I love the fact that I had no idea this game was coming. I had no idea these guys were building something so cool and something so awesome. And then it just drops and it's cool and awesome. Another thing that I like is just the direction of it and the actual story of it. When you're dealing with time loops, it can be somewhat by the numbers when you're dealing with something like a time loop. But what Stewart's done here is that he's made it different every time, and he's made very, very creative deaths. The thing about the power surges, which kind of resets your spawn point, I thought that was ingenious. I've never seen that done before. Usually if you make the wrong decision, you've just made the wrong decision and you ain't go down a totally different path, or you die and that's kind of game over. But with this, you died and then you went back to a different point and we got to redo it again with some different things. So as the game was apparently learning from me, the monster was learning from me within the game, I was learning from the game, right, this time we're going to do that. I saw that we could have did this, but I didn't want to do that, so I'm going to do this time. And it kind of gave me that more interactivity. I think in terms of interactivity, this game does it a lot better than most games that I've played like this. My final rating, I'm just going to sit here and rave about it for the next 10 hours if I carry on, so I might as well just move into my final Nerdly Presents Off the Reel rating. And it's a bit strange rating a game, but I will 100% play this game again, because the ending that I got was a little bit of a downer. But I believe, and I hope, I don't know for certain, but I believe there'll be different branches that I can go down. There'll be different endings that I can have. Happier endings, sadder endings. Maybe everybody dies. Maybe nobody dies. Maybe that's just something I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to go back and replay this game. 2.5 hours is a nice little game to play. I think you could probably clock this game a little bit quicker, but 2.5 hours is enough for me. Split up into like 8 or 9 different chapters that really does set different tones for the game, and almost in certain chapters it feels like you're playing a different style of game, but the same, you know, it's still the same, but different sort of like noir-y, thriller-y, kind of horror-y kind of thing, like your Alien 1, your Alien 2, that kind of thing, if you know what I mean. Like, it just felt a little bit different. As far as ratings go, I think this is sensational. I think they've done an unbelievable job with this, and the fact that it's got so many people in it that I just love seeing on the screen in independent UK cinema. I got a kick from all of that. I couldn't have asked for much more from this game, other than there is a point where you try to break into somebody's computer and you have to go for their password and you get a choice of basically 2 words. I chose the wrong word, and then I thought, well, I'll get a shot at the other word. No, it didn't give me that shot, so I'm going to have to replay just so I can see what the video was, and you've got my cogs turning, you've got my wheels turning. I'm giving this game, it's a 5 out of 5 from me. Go onto your Xbox, your Switch, your PS5, whatever. You can buy physical copies. I believe the physical copy is only on the PS5. I could be wrong on that. Go over to Amazon, do all your market research, you'll find it all over the place. But I thought the price point on the Xbox was superb. I was expecting to pay, you know, a little bit more than that. I was really expecting to pay a little bit more. It is damn worth the money. 100%. I recently paid about 50 quid for a WWE that wasn't worth the money at all, and then 3 days later it popped up on the Game Pass. This game is nowhere near that price point, and I got so much more enjoyment out of it, and I'm going to be going back and getting more enjoyment. The replayability on this game, I just think you're going to get so much time out of this, so much fun out of this, and you're going to enjoy this game more and more every time you play it, because you're going to want to see what different routes you can take for your different characters, see who you can get to live and all that, or even better deaths. Maybe there's some better deaths that I haven't seen yet. I mean, there is one death that I think is going to be unbelievably hard to beat. It was just gruesome, gory, and batshit loved it. But yeah, this game, it's incredible. It's really, really good. I kind of felt like I was already going to be in love with this, but I will be 100% honest with you, and if anybody involved in the game is watching this, if anybody involved in the game sees this, whether it's an actor, a creator, anyone behind the scenes, when I put this on, even though I'd seen the trailer, you know, the trailer always like polishes things up and shows you a little bit better parts of the game, I did not expect the production value of this game to be as high as it was. And I said that on my Twitch stream, so if you do watch the Twitch stream, you'll see me say that more than once. I thought the production value, the makeup, the uniforms, the costumes, the special effects, the practical effects, I thought everything on this was unreal. What a game. Dead Reset. I'm ready for Dead Reset 2. I'm ready for Dead Reset 2, the return of Slade and Cole. Cole and Slade, that is your new dream team. I am shipping them to the hilt. Like, I love the fact that you tried to get me to go away with Fern, but no. Slade's my guy. Me and Slade, we were in that pod. We were going to get out of there. We were going to live. We were going to go on and do amazing things. We were going to start a private investigation firm. We were going to take down all the monsters. How to Kill Monsters 2 was going to be the Slade and Cole story. Please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and ding that notification bell. If you've played the game, it would be awesome to hear what you thought of the game as well. So please do hit me in the comments down below. It's where the conversation will continue. I don't really get to talk about games too often, so when I do, I'm a little bit vocal and I talk quite a lot about them. So yeah, absolutely, check out Dead Reset. I think you'll 100% love this game, and I think there's so much there. Unless you don't really like horror games, unless you're a little bit squeamish, maybe not the game for you. But for anyone else, absolutely up your street, down your alley, play this game, you will love it. Dead Reset, loved it. 5 out of 5. Give me a Dead Reset 2. Sure, Sparke? Dead Reset 2, please. I'm all about it.